known for some time. Something about the world ain't right. The darkness lives in plain sight. In the ether, adjust your eyes. There are those that have no clue. You give them hints, they just stare at you. Most could live in Plato's cave, watching.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back once again with Smitty from not only Sound Alive Records, now Sound Alive Radio, DistroMint. I mean, he'll tell you more, but it's always a treat to have him on the show. Smitty and I met, about 4 years ago, with a couple other truthers, namely Nicholas Vinyamin and Nick Alvear from Good Lion. And we've been in touch, and I'm part of Sound Alive now, and there's a lot of exciting things happening. And he's been a great person to go through the Great Awakening with, because it's especially in the art and entertainment industry. I don't know many people that are doing what he does that are awake. So, brother, thanks for being with us today.
Man, I am excited, and thank you so much for having me once again. It is a pleasure to be here. Absolutely love being a part of TruthStream, and also having you guys as a part of, Sound Alive. So, I mean, it's really just amazing times right now. I want to make a shout out to all the Sound Alive Records artists, and then everybody in the Evernote community who's helped me build and put together soundaliveradio.net. And then everybody, my whole legal team that's helping me in my battle with DistroMint. I can't talk too much about that, but I will say that we had a really great day yesterday, and I've got a couple pictures, myself and my attorneys. We had a lot of fun, went to lunch afterwards. It was just all around a really, really great day. So more great days to come, and, hopefully some really great big developing news for DistroMint. And regarding DistroMint, we're eyeballing the Stellar blockchain right now in terms of where the new home for DistroMint is going to be. And, we're eyeballing Stellar, and we're eyeballing maybe decentralized hosting on Evernote, which is, if you guys don't know, soundaliveradio.net is hosted on Evernote, and it is a permissionless DPIN, meaning that anybody can become a host, buy a server, and you can host up to 30 nodes, 30 instances, which is really, really cool. You earn the XRPL native token ever. It's $EVR just for hosting or being a host. I think right now we have close to 11,000 servers, and I don't want to get into the amount of nodes because I'm guessing it's in the hundreds of thousands. And, the thing about a permissionless DPIN, which differentiates it from a blockchain, is that it is an actual host. And if you look at 99% of these blockchains, or I would say 100% of them, they're all hosted by centralized hosts. So we're talking about like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, big corporations, which kind of take away from the whole idea of blockchain, because blockchain is encrypted technology, and the block and the chain we're talking about here is coding, and the chain of letters and numbers and alphanumerics and symbols and XYZ, what makes a blockchain significant and also intricate and hard to crack. So, for example, if you want to talk about the utility in blockchain, okay, look at a bank account, and you got 13 digits in the route in the number in the bank account number, 9 to 13 digits, and 7 to 9 or 10, whatever, 11 digits in the routing number, and it's just a sequence of numbers. So when you got these guys who can like hack and crack, we're talking about, they can do these, put it into an AI system and basically crack the code within, a matter of seconds to minutes to hours to a few days, maybe a couple weeks. Now with blockchain, because you're mixing up numbers and alphanumerics and letters and uppercase, lowercase, symbols, XYZ, the codes now become a lot harder to crack because there's so many more different variables and combinations. So you're looking at something that might take 3 weeks to crack as opposed to a code that could take 300 years to crack. So that's why blockchain is so important. But I think the most important thing that blockchain is missing is decentralized hosting. And that's what Evernote does. So stepping back, I want to talk a little bit about Sound Alive Radio. SoundAliveRadio.net was birthed, as I told y'all previously. One of my buddies in the Evernote XRPL community hit me up about 6 months ago and said, Smitty, what if we did decentralized radio? What if we did live streaming and decentralized radio through Evernote? And I said, come back to me when it's ready. And, middle of March, he came and he's like, Smitty, it's ready. And I said, wow. All right. So, last time we talked, I was pretty much launching this thing or getting prepared to launch it. And March 25th, we became the first decentralized radio station to launch in the world. And that means that we are hosted on the Evernote DPIN permissionless DPIN. And this is a host that is hosted privately by 11,000 servers and that are not connected to Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure. Now, why is this so important? It's important because there's no on-off switch. There's no centralized major corporate conglomerate telling us what we can and can't do.
No censorship, right?
No censorship.
That's music to my ears.
Okay, and I know you've experienced a bit of censorship, especially with Rumble and various other platforms, YouTube. We all have had a lot of things pulled or flagged. And what this does is it allows for computing and data and hosting to operate, on the web, but literally with or without it, because we're our own host, and nobody can shut it down. And I'll give you this quick example. Last week, Coinbase and Binance went down. Now, Coinbase is a cryptocurrency exchange, so is Binance, but they also have, Binance blockchain and Base, which is Coinbase's blockchain. And both went down and both were powered by and hosted by AWS, also known as Amazon Web Services. And that's the issue with this centralized hosting. It's like, anytime something goes wrong, or if they want to just pull the plug or you don't pay your bill, they're going to pull it. They're going to pull it. And nobody should have that power authority to do so. So, I'm really big on this whole decentralized hosting thing. I'm really excited about the launch of soundaliveradio.net. And it's super easy, guys. All you got to do is go into your browser and just type in soundaliveradio.net. If you do it on your phone, it'll take you to a screen where you can hit install app and you can download the app. And we're running 24/7. And we now have Sound Alive Radio, which is mainly hip hop and R&B. And 99% of those songs are produced by Smitty. But then now we have a station called rock.soundaliveradio.net. And you can go directly to rock.soundaliveradio.net. And you can hear rock music 24/7. And my good friend and fellow artist, Kristen Capolino, is headlining right now. She's got the first live show. You can also click where it says change radio station.
Yep, I'm going to do that right there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
To rock.
It'll say Sound Alive Rock.
There she is.
Yep. I don't know
Awesome.
if you can get any audio. Can you get audio if you hit play?
I can certainly hit play. I don't know how it's going to sound through this, but let's give it a shot.
Yeah, let's see what it sounds like.
What would you do? Would you melt away? Would you face the day?
There we
Now,
go.
are you hearing that all right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So
All right. And so, when people look down at the is each number a different playlist?
no, those
Okay.
are actual instances hosted by the nodes. So let's say Sound Alive Rock number 3 goes down.
Okay.
Well, Sound Alive Rock number 5 picks it up with 0 latency and continues the programming. And that's what's so
wow.
beautiful about this system is if one node or server goes down, one can jump right back in. And it's simultaneous. Everything's linked in and there's no latency. So you're not going to miss any sound bite except for, however long it took to jump to the next node, which is really, really awesome. And that's one of the things that I love about decentralized hosting and about Evernode. And that's why it's called Evernode, because it's like every node and it's like forever, it's like infinite. We're the most powerful network on the planet. And when I say this, Evernode is so powerful of a decentralized host that you could host probably every single blockchain that exists on this planet right now on Evernode. That's how powerful this system is.
And you're the first. So this is really revolutionary and groundbreaking. What Sound Alive Radio has teamed up with Evernode to create. So is this? What would you compare this to? Not that it's comparable, really, but just for other people to wrap their heads around what it's kind of like. What would that?
This is like, in comparison, this is like a decentralized version of Sirius XM satellite radio, minus all the gaps and the advertisements, and it's just music, and it's playing all the time, and it's great music, and people, a lot of new folks who come in and hear the tracks, the records, they're like, well, yeah, man, this is great. I've never heard any of these songs before, but it just sounds great, though. And I mean, that's the key right there.
Right.
These are artists. A lot of them haven't been heard before because they haven't had the opportunity, nor do they have the $50,000 a month for the mainstream radio campaign to compete against, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, and Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Well, and they didn't sell out. They didn't sell out, nor are they Satanists. So that's the other part of it too.
Well, that's partially part of it, but a lot of it has to do with the money.
Right.
And my thing is, these major label artists, besides being sellouts, they're loaded when it comes to budgets. So a Beyonce or a Jay-Z may have a $2 million marketing, promotions, and radio budget, or even in excess of that, so that they can dominate the airwaves. There's also the connections, the friends, the people that they know, and the people that the labels that they work with have been working with for a very long time. This is a very intricate web of entertainment. And it's also by design, and it's by control, because remember, your masters must control you. And in order for you to be controlled, that means that you are being mind-effed in every way, whether it be, sports, medicine, food, television, entertainment, radio, music, you name it. Every single subject in life that the human brain can possibly comprehend has been tackled by the cabal and by the elitists. That's how they were able to enslave us and make us debt slaves. Now, we're seeing a revolution right now, and I'd say we're probably about 65% awake on the planet now. There's still a few folks who are kind of slowly waking up, or maybe they're like in a trance, or they're suffering from TDS or something like that. And then you got the 5 to 6% who will never wake up because they love being a slave. But the beauty of it is now, though, man, soundaliveradio.net gives artists the ability to be heard. And, we don't charge for airtime. Okay. We do provide a layer of promotions into where we expend all of our real estate on social media and on our websites and so forth to additionally promote the artists and then create the promotional assets that they might be able to use to further their listenership. That could include flyers and posters and postcards and things of that nature to promote themselves and promote their music. But yeah, man, if your music is amazing, you can give it a shot. We don't select everybody. We're very selective, and we've turned down a lot of artists. And it's just because maybe the quality of their music wasn't there. Their recording wasn't properly recorded. Maybe it's not mixed or mastered, or maybe it's just not good, And we only play elite artists on our stations. We have our house.soundaliveradio.net is the next phase, which was supposed to launch today, but we were so busy, and yesterday was a very busy day. We're probably going to see that launch on Sunday or Monday, and we're still actually recording the first couple hours of programming for that over the next couple of days. And then, Joe, my good friend right here, is preparing his hour to possibly hour and a half debut show with his alternative / rock, and maybe a little bit of metal here and there. Joe's got some great music, as you heard in the beginning, the theme song for TrueStream, and absolutely beautiful, especially when I hear it again and again, and then you recognize and realize the quality and the care that was put into that record. And I'll tell you, even the mixing, mastering on that is just immaculate. I don't think I had anything to do with that, but whoever did that did a fantastic job. And the way you put that together too. So, I'm excited because Joe is going to have his show, and he's going to talk a little bit about his music journey and musical journey. He's going to unveil. I think we're going to unveil maybe a special EP that's unreleased, and we're also going to go through some of Joe's top hats, top hats. Get it? Top hits,
There is one called Hats.
Yeah. No. Freedom Now, To Unite, Hats, which is one of my favorite records. I love the way that Joe performed that. I don't know. Where were you? Was that the X Games?
No. It was Park City. A friend of mine named Terry used to work at the radio station in Park City, Utah. But, the Park City, it has hosted the X Games. But yeah, Sundance Film Festival, at least for one more year. I lived there for about 5 years. But, it's cool to get to know people in the local area that are part of the entertainment scene. And it's
and Joe, Lifting Veils, of course, which is the theme song for TrueStream. And, just amazing work. And if you guys take the time and really let Joe's music kind of absorb into your system, you hear it. It's not the type of music you listen to one time and then make a decision. You hear it about 10 or 15 times. And then by the 15th time, you're like, man, this is really good. You're like, okay. And the reason why is because Joe is putting his whole entire thought and his vision for the world and exposing the truth and putting all the things that matter into the music. So it's very thought-provoking, but at the same time, then you realize, wow, these sounds are so amazing. And, a majority or a lot of the music is mixed or it's mastered in 432 hertz, in the abundance and healing frequency, which is amazing. But
ever since we've learned about that, a lot of people didn't even know that in itself was hijacked.
Yep, it was. That's
everything's
correct.
Frequency, and I've seen this meme going around. People they may not believe in frequency and healing and all that kind of stuff when it comes to the really quality, good healing components. But think of the microwaves. Think of Wi-Fi. think of, you know, the 5G, all those things, those are frequencies. It's just that those don't really have the best effect on us. And I got to say, what was really cool about Monday is Smitty's wife called in. We were doing a show with a gentleman's name is Denver, and he's part of the 12 Senses group created by Dr. David Martin, who we've had on the show 3 times now. And on Monday nights for the next 11 weeks, they're hosting information on each of the 12 senses. And to hear Smitty's wife call in on the show, it just, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of people listening. I don't know, there might have been 20, but to hear the David Martin subject matter mixed with someone that's, you know, part of the music scene, whether directly or indirectly. I mean, since she's with you, it's pretty much directly. But to hear those worlds starting to come together and the frequency, and that we have 12 senses, like, I can't even believe that I get to be part of connecting all these amazing, beautiful souls, man. It's incredible.
No, it is amazing. And you know, this is the destiny that we came to the planet. And that's our duty. That's our human and our humanity, and our godly duties are to connect the dots and help connect all the right people together. So my only faith is that we're doing a great job, and we'll continue to do so through music, through talk radio, discussion. You know, I think that TruthStream is amazing platform, especially when it comes to opening people's eyes, introducing people to folks like Dr. David Martin, who's very knowledgeable and very understanding and just a brilliant mind and excellent at articulating things to the common man and woman. And I will also say, you know, he doesn't just do his research. He like really knows his stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's a difference between somebody who's just scraping the web for things. When you know your stuff, you got your facts together, and you have everything that you can present in a factual manner to where it's much more believable. And you know, I'll be honest with you, you know, on my X account, I follow a few thousand folks. I don't know, maybe 17,000 or 20,000. I don't know. But I've got 172,000 following. I need y'all to be a lot more active, number one. So hit the retweet, the like, watch the streams, go to TruthStream, subscribe, go to Sound Alive Records, YouTube, and subscribe. Download the soundaliveradio.net app, or
it's free.
It's free. There's no, and people are like, oh, well, I'm in Google Play. How do I download it? And I'm like, it's decentralized. There is no Google Play. All you have to do is go to soundaliveradio.net and hit the install button. If you're on your desktop, you just go to soundaliveradio.net and hit the play button. And then there's a little bar at the top, and you can change the station if you want to hear rock or you want to hear house. And then, you know, what I wanted to, the last part about the radio station is we're going to add the, you know, the talk.
Oh, that's exactly right.
So TruthStream will officially be headlining, you know, Sound Alive talk radio.
Man, I gotta tell you, Smitty, I feel like sometimes I feel like the, I don't know, either the Bad News Bears or the underdog. Like, we've been so used to not really getting our message out there, but when it finally starts happening, it's like, is this for real? Because, you know, being censored so many times, it takes a toll, and you just start going, is anybody hearing this? Well, so man, it's incredible to talk to you about this. It's like, I had no idea where this journey was even. I mean, Scott and I got into TruthStream because we heard kids are getting trafficked, and I can't live in that world. And so to meet people that are on the team of not having things censored, and visionaries, it's incredible, man. It's really cool that you're doing this.
Well, I think that, you know, I think the biggest thing about our collective, you know, is that we are all pioneering something. And I think that I think you guys are pioneering truth talk radio in terms of you know, the shows that you guys have put on and the following, the base that you guys have built. So you guys are pioneering the truth, and which is come on now. You know, this is one of the hardest things on the planet.
It's not easy, man. I'll tell you that much.
You take a lot of shit and you take a lot of fire from folks, especially because you are disrupting their belief system or their false belief system, which is like what I like to call it. You're disrupting what they think is the truth. And actually, there's three parts to this. There's their version, our version, and the truth. And even though, of course, we stand with the truth, you know, we're articulating it through, you know, our personas and you know, our vision of what we see and what we feel and experience.
And we
But,
never
you know,
fully seem to arrive exactly. And that's, you know, like Scott, we'll have different shows where there's different perspectives on things because it's hard to know. We've been so mind controlled and manipulated that it's hard to know exactly what the truth is. But I will say, in having guests like Dr. David Martin, just learning that we have 12 senses and not 5. Well, imagine if we were all operating with our 12 senses as humanity, we wouldn't have been this bamboozled. And that's the beauty of it. As we start learning, first of all, that that's a thing, and then we start utilizing our 12 senses,
I think
it's
And
going to be an incredible world. Go ahead.
And I think, not to cut you off, but I think I haven't like dove into the 12 senses with David Martin, but I think what he's talking about is you've got the 6 senses and then you have the 6 chakras. And what I think the problem has been for a lot of people is that they don't understand their makeup as a human and their spiritual power and their galactic force, their energy. And that, yes, you know, from the pelvis to the front of your forehead, you have these chakras, these energies, and they're affected by vibration and light. So it's all energy. And you know, even everything in front of us, this microphone here, you know, the pillows back there, this mouse, you know, it's all moving electrical matter, and it's moving, even though it looks like it's steady, but that's just what our mind, our perception of what we're seeing. So, you know, I want to step back. We have to remember that our perception of reality is what we see and what we think, what we feel, and the energy that we put out in our beliefs is what shapes our reality. So in order to shape the reality that we want, it is essential to become in tune with the 12 senses, because the only way that we're going to be able to fix the situation, number one, and then number two, keep it from ever happening. Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I just had, there was a dog back there barking. But yeah, right. the as far as the 12 senses, yeah, you know, there's a reason that they've put so much crap in our atmosphere, in our water, and our food, etc. Like, just that alone should get people to question things. And I know that we're, for the most part, probably preaching to the choir on some of the subject matter. But at the same time, there are people newly waking up that may not be as aware. And that's the thing on Truth Stream. We do try to, even though our subject matter, it's very broad, but we do try to, you know, cater to people that are very awake and newly awake, because, you know, you can't go about this by ego. And so we're very welcoming to people that are just starting to kick the tires on what in the heck is going on. Yep. And that's really important to us, to not belittle people. I mean, we're not perfect at it, but you know, that's our goal anyway, to be empathetic to the human condition. So we understand people are different levels of that, wherever they are in their lives.
Different levels of awakening. Yeah, for sure. I agree. You know, I also would say that people wake up at the speed that they would like to, but I do think that we're past the point of mass awakening. We're there now, And I think things are moving rapidly. And, you know, if we want to talk about a little bit of maybe some of the things that are moving forward so rapidly, let's talk about the, you know, the successes that we've seen just in the first 3 months right now. You know, we've got, you know, violent criminals being taken off the streets. We've got new legislation that is leading to, you know, what I predict will be zero income tax. Okay. And for everybody that's like panicking about these tariffs and things of that nature, I would say, you know, I don't want to insult you and say, you know, you failed economics, but you need to learn and educate yourself because prior to 1913, or I believe it was 1870, late 1800s, okay, when this country was fully moved into a different financial system, yes, the corporation, we thrived as a country with tariffs. And tariffs were actually, they worked so well to the point where there was no need to tax anybody for their income. Everybody just, whatever you made, you took home. We were a very wealthy and rich nation. And that changed. A lot of that changed in the late 1800s. And then 1913, we know on that fateful day, when the we were pretty much placed into the hands of the Federal Reserve, and which is an offshore bank, just so people know. This is not.
Yeah, it's not federal at all.
It's not federal at all. It's not. No, it's an offshore bank. It's a slush fund for the cabal. And why should we be paying taxes if this money is actually going into the pockets? And as we've seen with Elon and with Doge, and the billions of dollars of mismanaged money, and it's really actually fraud and corruption and money laundering, things of that nature. The kickbacks, you know, from Elizabeth Warren to Joe Biden to you know, Obama's and the Clintons, and especially the Clintons, you know, they've wreaked havoc on this entire planet with the way that they've operated. You find out that these folks steal the money from you and I, regular tax-paying American citizens. They send the money over to, you know, Ukraine or China or wherever they're sending the money, and then they get a wire back, which is their kickback. And I think, you know, it was in tune of $70 to $90 million per person, and there was a list that was released. I think it was about maybe 10 different government officials, from Nancy Pelosi to Lindsey Graham to Biden to, you know, Obama, and their kickbacks were so insane. You know, we're talking 70 million here. You know, Mitch McConnell was also on the list, 63 million here, 90 million here, 80 million here. And they're sending, you know, billions of dollars over to countries just so that they can get their kickback. It's not really to help those countries, even though they're in cahoots with us, you know. So I think that the main thing is, and, you know, I'm just throwing numbers out there. Like, I don't have all the like full numbers in front of me, but I can tell you right now that, you know, all that is ending. You know, the wasteful government spending is ending. We see RFK Jr., and he's already gone in and eliminated, I think, you know, a number of very toxic food colorings and dyes. They've been removed from our food. Even seeing it on the state level here, you know, even in Georgia, you know, Brian Kemp signed a few laws into place to protect small businesses from outside entities, things of that nature. You know, the little guys like myself, you know, and I'm battling with a $1 billion corporation right now. So, I mean, it's really important to see the good things that are happening, not to lose faith, and not to get too wrapped around social media. You look at social media, and like I said, I follow, getting back to that point, I follow a few thousand folks. But, you know, a lot of these accounts, I have to put them on mute because they're just clickbait and sensationalism and engagement farming. They're saying the most outrageous and outlandish things they're getting a lot of interaction, but they're also striking people and their emotions in the wrong way. And
Right.
I think that no amount of money, X pays, every month you get a check if you've got over 3 million. I think it's over 5 million engagement
impressions, right?
Yeah, over 5 million impressions over a 3-month period of time.
Right,
then you can
right.
monetize.
That's not easy. Hey, real quick, while you were talking about the money laundering and we were talking about Dr. David Martin, I have this 1 minute and 11-second clip that I think is really important for people to see. And we've showed this on the show a few times, but take a look at this, Smitty.
All right.
It's pretty powerful. Here we go.
Silence. But ironically, you've seen silence on the other side. You've never seen Tucker or Rogan or any of these guys talk about the bioweapons programs happening in the United States under university support, and nobody puts 2 and 2 together. When you see an elected official going into Congress, they get $200,000-$300,000 a year salary. They go into Congress, and 10 years later, they have $150 million.
Yeah.
Or in the case of a couple more recent, $240 million. Now, Chris, I don't know about you, but it feels like there must be some money laundering going on somewhere because, that's right, we don't want to talk about this. We don't want the public to know that our state universities in America are currently money laundering exercises as slush funds to move money from the federal government to elected officials through the cunning use of lab research that should never be done under any civilized nation on earth. And we don't have any problem with that happening. And not a single person in the media is willing to talk about it.
Boom. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So that's the reason I like to play that clip, because there are some of us that are talking about it. And Dr. David Martin, I mean, he's not someone that is going out and looking for success on social media. It's just that his message is so powerful, and the way that he articulates, and the fact that he's, more than anyone I've ever met is using most, if not all, of his 12 senses. He's an amazing example of what we can do as fully functioning human beings. And he's absolutely incredible. I've got to go to one of his seminars for 4 days, and to be in the presence of him, it's like, that's why we do everything we can to get his message out there, because there's very few people, he's the only one saying what he's saying, and everyone should know this stuff so that we learn what we're up against.
Well, I mean, you got to do more than learn it and know it. You got to take action, because at the end of the day, these folks, whether they're Dems or Republicans or rhinos or libtards or whatever they are, they're all getting paid off of your dollar, off of your labor, off your hard work. So why is it that, an entire nation is enslaved to fulfill the pockets of a handful of folks? You know what I mean? It's not correct. And, these people, they deserve to be everywhere that they deserve to be, whether that be in Gitmo or what is the new big supermax in El Salvador,
right? Or maybe somewhere in Greenland,
wherever, like go away. And and I would prefer to see them get prosecuted and handled rather than to see them diminish, because they need to pay their dues to humanity and to society for what they've done. And these are the worst criminals on the planet. When I say they are the worst, but they're already under the radar. They're on there. Look, the target is already there. It's not going to be long. People always like, oh well, the feds are destroying files and they're deleting 9/11 and blah blah blah. And I'm like, they're not doing any of that, because there's this thing called the NSA, okay? and they have a record of everything. All right. So if you're wondering if there's like some special thing, agency, yeah, the NSA, that's what it's called. All right. And they keep track of all of this stuff. And that is a military agency. Okay. This everything. Look, when these Supreme Court justices, you see them ruling these unconstitutional and unfavorable rulings, and they're going against President Trump, and they're going against the will of the people. That's when it goes from the DOJ to the DOD. So Department of Justice, well, the Department of Defense is more powerful than the Department of Justice. And that's what people need to understand. So if y'all are panicking and thinking like, oh, this is the end, XYZ, no, there's a greater power. And just like, okay, you can burn documents, you can bleach phones, you can do whatever you want to do. That does not remove the fact that the NSA has already gotten a record of every text, email, phone call, anything you do on the internet. I mean, this is the age of technology. You're not going to get away with anything. You know what I mean? And what I would tell people is to just like imagine a world where we don't have to deal with these people anymore. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're cleaning up, and it's got to be revealed. The sleeper cells have to come out. The folks who are dirty, the communists, the commies, the hired guns, if you want to call them, because that's literally what they are. And I think, before there can be mass arrests of a lot of these major criminals, if they haven't already been secretly arrested, but for it to be public, then the sleeper cells and all their little foot soldiers have to be rounded up, and they got to go bye-bye.
Right.
So, I mean,
right. And, on that note, are you familiar with Colonel Bossy from Australia? I'm going to play. This is about a 2-minute clip, and basically the title of it is "Keep Calm and Find Your Local Anon." I'm gonna play this for you because I just retweeted. Now I think this is actually from fall of 2024, but it's worth playing because someone just shared this recently. So here we go. Here it is. All right, and
the final phase of the
yes.
For those of you who think the Q movement is a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy, switch off now if you're still here. I doubt you are. It's real. I've explained it's real. It's been going for 60 years, at least since Kennedy's death. It's been going well before that, in fact, this pushback, but in its latest phase. And this last counter-offensive started the year before Trump was elected. He was elected and he moved it forward. And the top level of filth that's been running the planet's been taken out. The middle order are now panicking and running. By middle order, I mean presidents and prime ministers. They're just middle order schmucks. Heads of departments in public service, for example, they are now panicking and running. They're all ratting on each other because there's been the knock at the door, and when they open the door, there's a man with a gun pointing at their face, an MP4 right here. And the reason they aim there is because it goes straight through to the back of the brain. You're dead before you hit the ground, and they get made an offer, and the offer is cooperate, and most of them do. So they're running and they're squealing on each other. The Masonic filth is now collapsing. All that's left, quote, are the useful idiots at the bottom. And the best they can come up with is late night calls, 3 a.m, heavy breathing, 70s style. So they're actually showing their age as well. But that's the best they can come up with. False allegations about candidates tearing down cornflakes. They're the last ones to go. And middle of next year, people say, what's happening next? Well, we've got a month of discomfort until the end of the year. Discomfort in the sense of, discomfort. In the first quarter, things will start to pick up. A lot of revelations will be made. Truth will start to come out. And by the middle of the year, there'll be the military tribunals are going to kick off. They've already been done. Many have already been done and been effected. People have been charged, found guilty, and executed. People in Australia, overseas, people in Australia have been arrested. And let's say they're on a holiday spa somewhere. Middle of the year, you'll start to see it, and you'll understand exactly why I don't care about my life.
So hopefully that gives folks some insight. So according to Colonel Bossy, we should start seeing some kind of arrests, and it looks like that's starting to seep into the mainstream media now already. So,
well, I'll put it to you like this, brother. I was in a federal building yesterday, and the minute you walk in, there's a big portrait of Poppy Trumpo and JD Vance right there on the right. So I was smiling from ear to ear, and I actually was on the 17th floor. Can you believe that?
Actually, I can.
So, the craziest things, man, have been happening. It's just a lot of coincidences. I'm seeing a lot of 17s everywhere, a lot of Qs. I'm not a kook or a crazy guy or anything like that, but I do pay attention. One of the other things that, you know, for folks who are kind of wondering how they can get in tuned, I think really importantly is pay attention to the numbers you see. If you look at the clock often like I do, it seems like I'm always looking at the right time because it's either 10:10, 11:11, 12:12, 1:11, 11:11, 2:22, 3:33, 4:44, 5:55. And what does these numbers mean? These are have significant meaning in the universe in terms of your angel numbers, spiritual numbers, and finance and things of that nature. And when you become in tune with these numbers, you'll understand the universe. The other thing is the universe, it operates on a 3-6-9 number magic. So everything happens in 3s, 6s, and 9s. And if you can in tune yourselves to that, you might even be able to schedule your day in a 3-6-9 schedule. But for me, I think I'm a life path 9 or 3, but my actual number is a 3. And everything for me happens in 3s. So when I get good news, I get good news 3 times. When something negative happens, it's normally, 3 negative events. I stubbed my toe, got a bill, and, my kid, busted my scooter. No, real story. Yeah, my kid did bust my scooter, even though I forgive him. But, it was an expensive scooter, like an $800 scooter. And, you don't normally do that. But I mean, kids are kids. They do what they do. But what I'm getting at is like everything is numbers and everything is spirit. And I think part of the 12 senses allows you to kind of align yourself to where you can be, awake and conscious and aware of those things. And then have more than just, the 5 senses plus the 6th sense and then all 6 chakras. Because if you add all that together, boom. Now, another thing that I would say that's helped me tremendously is if I'm feeling kind of weird, I just I go outside, I take my shoes off, take my socks off, and I ground. Because the electricity from the planet, from the ground, you walk barefoot. It's almost like, euphoric, like going to the beach. I know you were at the beach recently, but I'm sure you were probably walking on the beach barefoot.
I absolutely. Back, yep.
You felt rejuvenated. You felt like a new person. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like for folks who are going through it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because this is a very transitional time period. As the truth is coming to light, and as the light in the tunnel gets brighter, and as we ascend higher and higher into higher dimensions. There's going to be a lot of strain on the body. I've seen a lot of folks complaining about like neck pain, spinal pain, shoulder pain, aches, body aches, headaches, things of that nature. And, a great way to combat that is to drink a lot of water, get a lot of sun, and ground your feet on the ground. Just even if you go in your backyard and put your bare feet on the ground, it's very healing. And also the sun gives you vitamin D. And it also reverses conditions like depression and, bipolar disorder, autism, Asperger's. There's a lot of things that the sun can heal. And, it's just my 2 cents or whatever. But what I'm saying is like, it's so much going on. And I think if people can remain in their calm state and also have faith, we're not saying hope. Hope was something that Obama tried to feed us. Oh, just hope and it'll get better. No, you have to have faith. Faith is having the actual belief and knowing that your thoughts and your words and your beliefs and what you practice every day will shape your reality. So when we focus on mastering those things, we can shape the reality that we want to happen. And I'll be 1,000 with you. I've mastered this probably 2 weeks ago, and I haven't fully mastered it, but my life has changed dramatically in the last 2 weeks. And it went from doom and gloom to some really positive things. And of course, I've never been a doom and gloom guy, but I've felt very under attack spiritually and frequency wise, vibrational, things of those nature. And, by changing a few things, I was able to really like change the way that I think and I feel. And so it's like, believe and think what you want to think. Don't be in a bad mood, be in a good mood. If you're sad, change it. You're happy. If you're worried, have no fear. Fear, indoctrination, sadness, anger, all these are low level, low vibrational things that have been put into us and have altered the DNA of the human beings. And that's how the cabal has operated. They've operated a very, very sneaky, very sneaky and just sick system that keeps you down. And so therefore you never realize like how much power you really have or how electric you are as a human being. So I think changing the way that we think and we feel and maintaining that very positive and then having the faith. And that's what I'm going to continue to say, the faith. And I say this because I see so many folks online and just outside, and they've lost faith and they think, inflation's just going to continue and things are out of control. And, they're worried, they're concerned, they're living in fear. When you have faith, you don't worry about anything and you just give it up to God. You say, God, listen, I trust you. I have faith in you. And I'm going to let everything, put it in your hands. And when you do that, God says, okay, well, now that I've got your trust and now that you have faith in me, now I will give you 10 times what you could have ever imagined that you would receive. So I think this is really, really important. Absolutely important.
Well said.
Yeah.
I want to give folks some a little inspiration if they're feeling down.
Yep.
I want to share with them an interview we did yesterday that Scott and I did, because sometimes you'll see me do shows by myself and Scott will do shows by himself. Most of the time we're together as a team, but yesterday we got to interview this amazing woman, and her name is Lynn Scott Hagerman. So if you go to the right here and you see the flower on the right, that's April 24th. So she is so SRA, if some people are unfamiliar with that term, that's satanic ritual abuse.
Yep.
And what she's had to endure, if anyone is in a tough spot, I mean, there's people like her, Kathy O'Brien, Laura Worley, Jesse Saboter, and some of the people that I bring up, Jesse Saboter, some feel that she's, a little controversial. We've interviewed her twice. She's been wonderful to have on our show. But, I just want to let people know, we really throw a wide net. And so, if they want to be uplifted and, learn a perspective from someone that had that happen to them from age 0 to 5, and is still finding a way to smile and keep her faith and keep her head up. It's an incredible interview, just a wonderful, and that's part of it. And she told us that she watches our show. She's been watching our show. We had no idea, and it was just a beautiful moment when we realized that we've had some kind of positive impact on Lynn Scott Hagerman. So I just wanted to say that for people.
Awesome.
So, brother, I know we're trying to keep this around an hour today. Is there anything that you want to say in closing? Please feel free, whatever you want to talk about.
No, thank you for having me again. I think we got into a really great discussion. And I think that, you've got all these experts that come on TruthStream, and then having myself as just kind of, a music industry guy, but also, maybe the common man and whatnot. And I think that, that kind of opens the doorway for a lot of other folks to jump in and feel like, you can be a part of this as well. I want to say that, I'd love to hear new music from new musicians. We're really looking for right now very serious and very talented acts. And when I say serious, I mean, like, you want to make this a business that's going to pay you for the rest of your life type of seriousness, because we have the tools and the ability to help facilitate that. That's exactly how I make my living, is by my music. And I've been doing it for 25 years now. So I want to help other people establish their businesses and do great things. We're also looking for rock music. We're looking for house music. I'm looking for artists who want to do songwriting. I produce the record and then maybe I shop it to, another artist, a major artist, something of that extent. I'm not looking for people who are not serious. I'm not looking to work with hobbyists. Sound Alive Records is a very serious company. We got world-class musicians like Kristen Capolino and Joe and Rapid Forte, myself, Accomplice. We've got a lot of really great things on the plate. So I really need everybody to, if you're interested in working with Sound Alive Records, you're going to email info@soundaliverecords.com, or you can go to soundaliverecords.com and just fill out the contact form. Make sure you've got an adequate way for us to reach you. And let's not waste each other's time. I'm not going to go chasing anybody. My time is very limited and I'm doing a lot of things right now, juggling a lot. And, it's a lot of responsibility as well. Now, regarding the radio station, like I said, we're going to be launching house.soundaliveradio.net on probably Sunday, Monday. Rock.soundaliveradio.net is live and soundaliveradio.net is live. Make sure you download the app. Make sure that you're listening all the time. We've got great things going on. We're adding new programming all the time. I'm adding another 2 hours of programming today to soundaliveradio.net. And if you're interested in getting on the radio, or if you're interested in advertising with us, or maybe even becoming a partial owner, you're going to send that email to submissions@soundaliveradio.net. Again, that's submissions@soundaliveradio.net. You can reach myself at the really Smitty on X. Please, by all means, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is @sound_alive_rec, or at the really Smitty, youtube.com/@the really Smitty. And just, get active, and also I would love to see you guys on Spotify. Joe just hit, I think, 6,000 or 7,000 monthly listeners, and we just hit, I think, 10 or 11,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. It would be great if you guys could follow us, and also just, we don't make a whole lot of money off of streaming because of the the way the system is set up, and that's part of why I built Distromint. But what I would love if you guys just took my music, Joe's music, any of Sound Alive Records artist music, and just put it on repeat, put it on a playlist and put it on repeat while you sleep at night. Even if you don't listen to it, it would be great. It kind of drive us a little bit of revenue here and there. And the last thing, make sure that you follow TrueStream on all the platforms, and make sure that you don't just subscribe on Rumble, that you actually come and like log in and jump into the conversation and plug in every time that Joe and Scott are broadcasting. I think they need you guys' support. I know that they need it, because it's a huge part of what they're doing, and it would be amazing if we could get these numbers up into the thousands of viewers while Joe and Scott are doing live streams and bringing in these amazing guests. And I want to make a big shout out to all the amazing guests that are on TrueStream. Would love to connect with you guys too. You guys have all my contacts. Other than that, Joe It's been amazing. Just had a great show and love connecting with you. And I love all the, the little quotations that you were able to throw in there, with Dr. Martin and with the gentleman from Australia. I'm very familiar with him as well. So, right. I mean, very cool stuff. Really looking forward to, guys, within the next few days, we'll have Joe's segment on rock.soundaliveradio.net. So make sure that you download the app or you at least bookmark the site. Other than that, thank you, Joe. It's been fun.
Absolutely. And I'm going to share I just created this morning. So thank you for the motivation on that, Smitty. Yep. So that's how you spell my name. So some people don't know. It's Joe, Rosati.
It's not Joe Rizzuto, okay?
Exactly.
It's Joe Rosati.
I know. And it's funny.
Not double S or double T, just one S and one T.
Well, and I get some people might hear my last name and think I'm like into opera. I mean, although I do love
Joe Pavarotti.
that is not my style. My style is more like, I would say somewhere between 60s, 70s, 80s music, whether it's acoustic based or English rock or etc. But when I grew up, I was doing music when Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all those bands broke. But I'm just a kid that it's not always easy to find three other people to play music with. And so this is part of the conversation that Smitty and I are going to have. So yeah, there's freedom now. So a lot of these are about the awakening and the other and rebirth. And so there's some singles. There's part of my album, The Candelabra Light. So there's 10 songs on there right now, and everything from very intimate acoustic to produced with a lot of different sounds. So I just wanted to share that with folks. So please check that out. If you're into that kind of music, and maybe you'll be surprised. There might be something on there that you like, or it sounds similar to some of the artists that you like, because we do.
I would say this, your music, to me, I can compare it to like REM or like U2 in terms of you've got that range. You know what I mean? Because some of your songs, and people will listen, it's multiple layers of instruments, and then you've a lot of collaborators as well because of some of your major collection of talent, because it is what it is. But when REM, you think of Losing My Religion, Everybody Hurts, records like that where you could really feel them. I think that your music, though, is much more in a brighter light. It's in higher frequency, and it's not so sad. You know what I mean? I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that would be a synonym for anybody who's never heard Joe Rosati music.
Whoops, am I losing you? Right in
Did
the
you
middle.
lose me?
Yeah, it just kind of cut out, which sometimes happens on our show.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. You were talking about,
okay.
Yeah, I do try to, I try to go to the depths, but also have some optimism in there. And I think that's what you're speaking to.
Right. No, I was saying that anybody who's never heard Joe Rosati's music, if you are a fan of like REM or U2, I would say that you will definitely vibe with Joe's music, because if you look at records like Everybody Hurts or Losing My Religion, just the arrangement of the acoustic guitar and the drums and the bass and everything, and that just bounce. It's got a really nice feel, a nice rhythm, a nice vibe. And then I said U2 because you've got certain records that have like a lot of depth in terms of instrumentation and layers, and then collaborating with amazing different people that you've been able to collaborate with and getting that real professional sound that you have. So, it's the experience, and then also the, the talent, just the raw talent. And I think that, the difference I would say is that your music's on a higher vibrational level, and it's more positive, uplifting. And it's just, it's kind of like an overcoming. I would say a lot of your music, it's going to help people overcome. So, if you love
adversity, I would say that, because I felt that my whole life. So I can't help but it's the pulse in the blood of the music.
Yep.
is
the music pulses, definitely. Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
it's
awesome,
got a heartbeat
brother.
to it. Look, brother,
Here
I ain't
we
gonna
go.
hold you up any longer, but I really appreciate you having me, and I look forward to doing this again and giving you guys another update. Make sure that you guys follow us, subscribe on our YouTube, Rumble, Spotify. Add the Spotify playlist, or come on and become a follower or a listener. Support in any way that you can, and reach out to me if you want to work. We can work together. Reach out to Joe if you want to become a guest. If you're an interesting person, you got something amazing to share, definitely reach out to Joe. And once again, Joe, I appreciate your time and had a great time today, brother.
All right, brother. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching. Scott and I will be back tonight at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, just kind of shooting the whatever you want to call it with each other and going over some current subjects. So with that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll roll. Well, this is my song, Lifting Veils, part of it as the outro. God bless. Take care, everybody. Cheers.
I've known for some time something about the world ain't right. The darkness lives in plain sight, in the ether. Adjust your eyes. There are those that have no clue. You give them hints, they just stare at you. Most could live in Plato's cave, watching